of the Simply Abundant Summit. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're brand new to the Simply Abundant Summit, I have sat down with 21 experts in the field of abundance and whatever abundance looks like to you. I found that for me anyway, I tend to get in my own way and overcomplicate being able to embrace the abundance that life has to offer me. So I wanted to sit down with some experts and just see what they did to live an abundant life and to see if it really is as simple as I was thinking it was. And so we are in for such a wonderful journey today. We have Lisa Barnett on the line, and we are so thrilled to be interviewing her. Let me tell you a little bit about Lisa. She's the founder of Akashic Knowing School of Wisdom. And she's an internationally known teacher with more than 20 years of experience in the spiritual healing forum. And through her school, Lisa has created resources for clarity and healing through this ancient yet accessible Akashic realm. And if you're not quite sure what the Akashic realm is, that's okay. Hang on, because we'll learn all about it. She accesses the healing wisdom of the Akashic Record, and then in turn, she teaches her students, which gives them knowledge so they too can access their own personal soul records for daily guidance. She specializes in working with individuals to help them become centered on their soul's path by clearing soul contracts, karma, and vows, which have been shown to have a profound effect on their life. So I don't know about you, but I could certainly use some clearing and some clarity on my path. So we are so excited to have you with us, Lisa. Thank you again for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Allison. I'm very excited to share this information with you and your listeners. Thanks.
So I'm going to just jump right in it and say, what in the world is the Akashic Record?
Well, the really easy answer to that is that they are the records of your soul's journey from the time your soul individuated from source until this moment. So those are kind of big words, but basically at one point, probably billions of years ago, we left the divine energy of source and we decided to take our own little journey. So I'm going to leave the big brownstone of God and I'm going to head off down the street and see what's out there in the, in this vast world. And everything I've done from that time, everything I've done since I walked out that door is recorded in the Akashic Field. So each person has their own record. You actually have beings of light that keep those records for you. So it's very profound because our records are vast. They're just, infinite because we're really infinite beings. And then we have these phenomenal beings of light, masters and teachers that hold this energy, that are there to support us, that really want to speak to us. It's so cute because they get so excited very often when we show up because they're like, yay, I get to help you, That's their only job, is to be there for us. So here's this infinite record, and each person has a record. But the interesting thing is that so does your pet, so does your business, which means you can actually access the Akashic records of your business to help you on your path with your business. So it's a profound tool, whether you're working through things like abundance or relationships, or abundance for your business, or your family energy. So everything, every aspect, every thought and feeling is recorded in your personal Akashic records. So.
Wow, that's big.
It is, and yet there's so much detail. There's just pure unconditional love. And what I'd love to do with you and the listeners, watchers today is to actually bring you into the Akashic Field with me so that people can get a little sense of it and get some healing as we do some Akashic work today.
I think go for it. Let's do this. How fun.
So if people can sit back and close their eyes for a few minutes and just really go in, we're just going to take a couple of breaths as we drop into our hearts. And we allow ourselves to feel the support of the chair beneath our body. And we acknowledge the divine support that is all around us. And we connect to the earth beneath our feet as we ask the earth to help us to be more grounded and present right here and right now. And we ask the divine lords of unconditional love to help us center fully in this moment as we create this sacred space. Please wrap us in your love and protection and allow us to travel to the highest realms of the Akasha available to us today. Please help as we lay our multidimensional hearts open to divine love and release all resistance. Lords of the Akashic Record, please guide us to the deepest truth that we can access now. Support us in healing and releasing that which no longer serves on our true path. We give great thanks for your love and support on this journey today. So just let yourself feel this beautiful high vibration surrounding you, uplifting you. It often feels like many of us have come together in a huge, like football stadium in the sky, where we're all gathering with our soul family and the loved ones that maybe we can't see here on this planet, but they're here with us. They're here on this call, and we're all connecting in this divine energy. Good.
That feels really good.
It does. So just kind of with that all done and said, you can come back and open your eyes and just with the intention that whatever it is you might be ready to heal, clear, release around abundance, we'll just ask the masters to help us do that.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, no, I absolutely do. That's one of the great gifts I find about the Akashic Records, because it is this really one of the highest vibrations we can access, because it is source energy. There is profound healing, and one of the things I do for my clients is to go into all of their past lives and help to clear and release these vows we've taken. And so when we talk about things like abundance, we've often taken vows of poverty. And very often along with that goes a vow of chastity. So sometimes people find that they don't have a relationship or any money. And it's like, why? It's like, oh, that abundance gets kind of wrapped together in a very interesting way.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So that leads me to a couple of questions. But the first question I want to back up with is to ask you, have you always experienced abundance in your life?
You know, I have to say I am really blessed because I have. And part of the reason that I can say that has been true is that when I was only like 3 years old, I was very aware, and I remembered not being in a body. I knew that I was this very expansive being. As a matter of fact, I told my mother I wanted to go home. I didn't really want to do this. And here I'm like,
Wow.
3 years old, right? And I'm like, I want to go back. You know, my poor mom. She's like, back where? You know.
Wow.
But I had that experience, so I knew and felt the infinity of the allness of the universe. And that this was just, you know, whatever I would call it, a flash in the pan, right? This is just a very small part of everything, of the everything, of the all that is. So that was a gift that was always, you know, there for me to know that I could create what I wanted to create. And I felt that love, the divine love of, you know, Mother, Father, God. And so I knew that I was here to create and to prosper and to thrive. And so in that way, I've been really, really blessed. So.
Wow. So for the rest of us who are human, I'm just teasing, who maybe haven't experienced all of that, how are you able to relate to people who are like, I just, you know, bum rap kind of a deal with their life? I'm sure you've talked to people who have experienced lots and lots of lack in their life.
Yeah. Yes, all the time. Most of my clients, honestly. With the Akashic Records, the way that that it really benefits us and that I can use it in this way is I would open a client's record. So I would specifically go into the complete vibration of that person, and we would ask very specific questions about what is the soul contract, what is the karma around this lack, are there vows or contracts that we have, and the masters can give us that whole big picture throughout time, and I'll go in there and see all of these lives. There's so many of us now on the planet who are very, very spiritual, who are very spiritual beings, who have come to do profound work, but many times we've taken these vows of poverty because we were monks or nuns or gurus or ascetics, or, we lived all these deep spiritual lives, and we didn't actually need money because we were holding the vibration and holding the energy of enlightenment for our village or the world. And the villagers brought us food and chickens, or we lived in a cave, or we lived in a monastery, or we were really cared for in a different way than we are today. So what the masters say is that very often when we take these vows, these very deep, profound vows, they stick with us really throughout time and space. So I often tell people, don't make any vows. You might be working through them 10 years, 10 lifetimes down the road. Leave the vows out. But so we can actually go in and work on clearing and releasing the vows, the pain and the trauma around that. I work with the Akashic Masters because, again, they're divine source. They can say, yes, this person has really learned what they came to learn about that. They're ready to move forward. We can let go all of that energy. So you literally reclaim soul energy and release the vows at the same time. So people feel filled up with light and this energy that's been kind of missing from their lives because it was stuck out of time and space in what we call a past life. And all of a sudden they find that doorways open. Somebody calls them with a great idea for a project, or maybe it's a job, or they connect with somebody and really get to create something new. So it can be very, very useful just in that day-to-day kind of work.
Absolutely. So my question for you, and this is said in absolute respect. Do you have clients who don't believe in past lives? And do you work with people who don't have that belief system? My belief system is different from past lives.
Uh-huh.
So what do you do with the people who say, well, I don't believe? Do you just say, well, sorry, too bad, so sad, that's how it is? Or what do you do? And this is said with the utmost respect.
Yes, absolutely. So, because your records are the records of your soul's journey from, the beginning of time until this moment, usually when a person asks about, why am I stuck? Why can't I make any money? What's this whole, block to creating, some kind of form of abundance? It's very often also part of our childhood, our ancestral lineage. It's really almost down in our genes. And so I usually get, 3 to 5 levels and layers of things to work on. So if you weren't into the past life energy, that would be fine because you would work with some of your ancestral energy. Maybe you come from an ancestry where there was a lot of poverty. There's a lot of people who have families who believe that money is bad or dirty. Sometimes we even heard that kind of thing as a kid, and we can say, oh, I heard my parents say that, but we take it in an energetic sort of way that we're often unconscious of. We often feel that what our parents feel is the truth of us because we're so connected to them, especially in the first, 5 to 10 years of life. So there's a lot of very deep and profound healing that we do with this present lifetime also. So I love the past lives. It just happens to be my strong suit because I find it so profound. But I also do a ton of work deprogramming, clearing ancestral and genetic old energies, belief patterns, energy patterns. So we can work with all of those pieces too.
Oh, that's quite a relief, Lisa, quite honestly. I'm sure there are a lot of people, and there are very, very many people who believe in past lives, and I respect that belief absolutely. And I thought, well, what about those of us who think a little bit differently? And so that is fantastic. Thank you. Yeah. That's very comforting to know that we're not just left out of all the healing that can happen.
Yeah, one of the women that I know who also teaches Akashic Records, I don't know that she ever particularly went there. It just was, she was a little bit older, and it just wasn't part of her paradigm. And she always only worked in this present life Akashic Field. And so, absolutely, there's a ton of information because, there is all sorts of levels and layers also energetically and, like I say, ancestrally and unconscious beliefs and the collective unconscious we buy into and believe even if we're unaware of it. So many, many, many places that we can work into the energy without ever even delving into a past life.
And have a profound healing. With
and
that
have a profound healing. Absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
very comforting. Very comforting.
Yes.
So when you work with your clients, what do you see do you see that there's a common theme that kind of holds them back from really stepping into abundance?
What I see is two, and of course I'm going to be stuck with there's actually two paradigms very often, which is that we haven't, felt that we are deserving to receive. So it's actually about receiving or havingness. We call it kind of different things in that way. But I often see it almost like having a vessel, an energetic place and space in our energy field to hold the abundance of the world that's here for us. And so when we just, have our little bowl, then that's full really fast, that little bitty bowl, So I like to see that the energetic receiving this vessel to be is bigger than a body, because really, that's how, and of course it has to do with flow and motion. It's giving and taking, but it has to come in to go out. So there's all of that energy. So that's a huge thing for people. Certainly self-esteem gets, into that whole world, also being able to receive, not feeling like we're good enough, et cetera, et cetera. And then of course, to me, there's always the vows that we've made, wherever we made them. Sometimes we made them as children. Sometimes we think, I'm never going to be like that person. They're terrible and they're rich and they're mean. How did you ever know a rich kid and you said, oh, they're awful, they're mean, I wouldn't want to be that. And energetically, all of a sudden, we vowed to never be like that, and that may be rich. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just made me think about vows in a completely different way that I have never thought about vows before. Ever. That's bad. I will never be that way. Usually when I think of vows, I think of marriage vows. Those are the vows that I think of. But I have made vows like that. I need to undo those vows. I think we've all made vows like that without even realizing that that's Absolutely. What we were doing.
Yes, absolutely. And so, I tend to tell people, those always and never words are, those are all parts of vows. And my dear sweet husband, I've been married for 22 years, but he'll say things like, I love you forever. And I'm like, oh, honey, that sounds so nice, but don't do that. I mean, literally the marriage vow says until death do us part. So when they wrote the marriage vows, whoever it was that put those vows together, were aware of the power of a vow. We don't want to love someone forever, because if you do believe in past lives, forever can be, and future lives, forever can be a very long time. And so they literally wrote until death do us part in the marriage vows. I mean, how smart were they?
Wow. Okay, so when you have these people that you have found that have the self-esteem or they have the undeserving issues that are holding them back, how do you help them bridge that gap? Is it just opening up the Akashic Records and I don't know, sweeping it away or what? I have no idea what happens.
Well, again, a couple of layers of things. So I've been given healing tools and prayers from the masters of the Akashic Records, so they can be very profound in healing. One of them is actually a forgiveness prayer, which helps to clear karma and just release us from those kind of binding energies. And so often I'll send and give clients some of these healing prayers, but energetically, for the last 20 years, I've been working at learning, figuring out how to release these energies through the energy field. And so I actually do that for the client. So I can clear the pain and the trauma, release that emotional, a lot of vows and, are based on emotions. So it's the emotion that locks it down. So when I'm hating that rich kid, it's the hate, it's that emotion that is locking that vow in place. If I'm just kind of not really liking them and maybe not caring all that much, it's not going to be a vow. If I could say I don't want to be like him, but it's not going to be a vow that sticks, because there's no real power and fire to it, because you're not in a kind of traumatic emotional space, right?
Right.
So I can clear that emotional pain and trauma from your field. So that's one of the ways I unlock the energy for people, so we can reclaim it, recycle it, and use it for our highest and best good, instead of having it stuck as a block or a ball that we just can't, like, I have this block and I can't get around it and I don't know why, So that's
Wow. Okay, so you clear the space then for whatever that block is. So does it just remain a void, or what is there something brought into that space?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a fabulous question, because it's a very important issue that a lot of people don't even consider when they heal and clear energy. It's so important to fill ourselves up with our highest and best. I like to use our highest and best Akashic Record energy, our highest and best, physical level energy, and cosmic energy. So I want to fill us up with all of our highest and best kind of layers of energy, because whenever we make a void, whenever there's an empty space, well, we know that, voids just don't stay empty for very long. So something is going to fill that space, and it could be someone else, which means it might be someone in your family or just someone else who has a strong opinion. And literally, people get in our space all the time, completely unconsciously. So they'll fill that space for us. So it's really important. And that's one of the great pieces of work that I often do with the records. We have two healing prayers that are really here to open and clear our energy field. So our personal energy field, moving people out of our space, and then moving energy patterns and other energies out of our space, so that we can fill ourselves up and know who we are and get in alignment with our soul's path without, when we're little, we think what our mother's feeling is what we're feeling, but it's not. So I see so many people who are stuck in the trauma of lack, of feeling broke and feeling less than. And when we work in the records, that client will realize it was maybe their mother or their father, someone in their family that was experiencing that, and they didn't know any better. They were 1, 2, 3. They thought it was them. So they go forward believing that this is the truth of who they are, and it isn't. It's the truth of what their mother was experiencing. And I've actually even found that I can often clear, not everybody's, because it depends on the issue, but I've noticed that sometimes we can clear depression because someone has taken on their parents' depression, because their parent was like really severely depressed when they were a child, and they grew up with a depressed parent, and they just thought that was what feelings felt like.
Wow.
So by literally moving all of that old energy out of their space and out of their field, and really kind of clearing any contracts they had with the parent. And so there's kind of levels and layers, a lot of levels and layers in the Akashic Records. So you would want to clear out the contracts with the parent and kind of any other energies that are binding you together in that way. So you can again embody your own soul's path and clear and heal your energy field, so you can find out, what does it feel like to be me? What am I here to experience? Not what was my mother here to experience, right?
Right.
So it has a lot to do with our whole abundance system and relationships and money, because often we're running under a false assumption of what somebody else thought or felt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you find that your clients tend to reach back and grab that energy back to them, unconsciously, of course, but do you find that they're like, oh, we've got, hosed off, so to speak, and cleaned up and on our way?
Right. A little of both. The way I tend to work is, and this is one of, again, the reasons that I love the Akashic Records, is because the masters will show me and point out where maybe these contracts are. And sometimes, of course, for someone like me, those contracts may go back into past lives where you were together in past lives and you made a vow or a contract to support the person in this life. Now, you can have a support contract with a parent or a spouse or a child, or with all sorts of different people, whether you had past lives with them or not. So, support contracts could be completely standalone. But we'll actually go in and update that contract, because that contract is obviously kind of, out of sync. It's not in alignment with this adult, child's life path. So when you said I would support this soul, that doesn't mean that I will take on their depression for life. So by clearing and releasing, healing, bringing those contracts into present time, it makes a really big difference, so that they don't, it doesn't just kind of ooze back in. Now, that doesn't mean sometimes people have other issues and they really want to continue to support, or, but when we let all those hooks go, it's so much easier. And then, again, I like to teach people a lot of different tools, again, about filling yourself up with your highest and best energy and being centered and all of these things that are very vital for us being in alignment with our soul path.
Absolutely. So do you have a tool that you could maybe share with us on this call, or a simple exercise or something that you wouldn't mind sharing with us to help us?
Absolutely.
Oh, great.
Yes. So, let me just see. Probably it feels like one thing that would be really beautiful to do is the forgiveness prayer. And it is a prayer which actually clears karma and really disconnects us. One of the things that I find with people around abundance very often, again, is that we have not forgiven ourselves for something. So, of course, it's important for us to forgive others for whatever transgressions, but we're really so hard on ourselves. I always say,
Yes, we are.
So really forgiving ourselves and opening our hearts. And I find that when we can, clear this old karma, be in our hearts, be in forgiveness, it's so much easier to create from love and joy and to draw to us all of the abundance of the world, because we feel the love and we feel that we deserve then, because we are loving divine beings. So we can do the forgiveness prayer, and that would be very fun. So good. So again, this is a little bit more just, I will say it 2 times. So again, if people just can sit back and remember that we have the Akashic Field around you. So with the intention that your masters, teachers, beings of light are here to help you complete any old karma and move into your heart and to forgive yourself and others. It's really, can be very profound. It's another very simple and profound tool that the masters have given us. So I love that.
Wow, yes.
Yeah. All right. So if you can just take a breath and close your eyes. We ask the Divine Spirit Source to help us to forgive anyone or anything that has hurt us in the past, from the beginning of time until this moment. Whether they're conscious of the hurt or not, we forgive and release any obligation we may have together. Divine Spirit Source, please help me to forgive myself for any hurt that I have caused in the past, from the beginning of time until this moment, whether conscious or unconscious, to myself or to someone else. I ask forgiveness for myself, and I forgive them and release them of any obligation we may have together. So just allow your heart to open. I see lots of beautifully spinning hearts, just spinning and clearing. We ask the Lords of our Akashic Records to uplift and bring to completion everything and anything we're ready to release right here and now, from this life or any other, letting go of karma, moving into love. Oh, it feels lovely.
Well, yes, it did. I was participating right along, enjoying the breathing and the energy washing over me. That was very, very nice. Thank you.
Yes, you are welcome. And then it's just fun to notice how that shows up in our lives. So we can use these very simple tools. And of course, I teach people also to access the Akashic Records so that people, if they're interested, can find that, find out how to do that also, and have me help them. So there's lots of ways to move into this energy field and to deepen into this work and this very, very high vibration for healing yourself.
Absolutely. Well, I can feel it. It feels different in my heart. Like my heart feels like it's, like I can feel it beating more. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It was beautiful. It was like I saw this big ball of spinning kind of reddish gold energy, and it was really beautiful. And I just felt like that was kind of the symbol of everybody's hearts just opening and expanding and clearing and growing. So it was, lovely.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, I have two quick questions. Oh my gosh, we're about out of time, but I wanted to talk just for one quick second about vows, because I know we had said a little bit about vows before, and I believe that marriage can last forever, and so that's an important vow for me to make. So when you're breaking vows, or I hate to say breaking vows, but when you're releasing those vows that you might have made in the past, that doesn't release all vows, does it? Or just the specific vows that are not serving you and aren't in your highest good?
Right. Absolutely. So the vows that they're very specific. So, they're sometimes they're like a vow of vengeance. Well, that's not in your highest and best good. So let's clear the vows of vengeance where we decided we want to come back or we wanted to, get back at somebody for something. So that's just very specific vows. And because we're working with the Lords of your Akashic Records, they're just going to help you to clear what's in your highest and best good. So it really is very important that it's, just whatever piece that you want. And so one of the things I do like to also say about the Akashic Records, when I work with clients in their records, the masters are, sometimes people get nervous and they're like, oh, I'm afraid, and it's like the masters meet you where you are. So the information they're going to give us, the healing they're going to suggest or offer to do, they don't even do anything without your consent. So even when I'm working with the client, I would say, we could do some clearing on that if you'd like, but I always want a person's conscious consent before we release or clear anything. Because I've occasionally had a client say, no, I'd rather work through that myself. or, something like that, or I don't know that I've really learned that yet. I need to do some more work on that. So perfect. Whatever's right for you.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh, my word, Lisa, this is so fascinating to me, and I wish that we could go on forever, or at least for hours. But unfortunately, you have things to do, and our viewers, I'm sure, need to get back to, life as we know it. But I understand that you have a free gift for us. Will you take a minute and explain what that wonderful gift is that you have for us?
Yes, I do. So it is called Journey into the Akashic Field. And so it's a guided meditation. It's a really beautiful way to do some healing. So in this meditation, you walk into your records. You get to go into this beautiful garden of your Akashic Field. You bathe in the river of forgiveness. So again, you can do some clearing and really open your heart some more. And then we get to receive some soul gifts that are our soul gifts. So whatever it is we're ready to receive now, to know, to reclaim, to be aware of. So we received 3 gifts in this guided meditation. So it's a beautiful meditation, and it's on my website. So hopefully people will get to go there and access that. You'll get to download it so you can have it and do more than once. And so that's at akashicknowing.com. So I don't know if you post the websites?
Yes, actually the link is right here on the email that everybody got with this interview, and so they can just click right on it and get sent right there to your website to get that guided meditation. And I'm so thrilled because I'm going to get it too and do it over and over and over again.
Yay! I love that.
This has been so remarkable. Are there any last words that you would like to leave us with before we say goodbye?
Yes, what I always love to ask the Lords and the Masters if they have a message for the group. And so just a little bit more of a channeled message, so we'll just see what they say. Dear ones, we just reach our hearts out to you. The divine love is here for you to support you and guide you every day. We love you. You are wonderful. You are wondrous. You are light. Thank you. So I love the Masters. They're just love. And so they really just want to support us and let us know how amazing we are. And that, again, is great for our abundance and for our self-esteem and for shifting our energy into knowing the truth of who we are, divine beings of light.
Wow. Thank you. That was beautiful. I felt that. I felt that love and support come through you. So thank you so much. And thanks to the Masters for sharing that message of love with us as well. I think we could all use that more often every day, those messages.
Yes.
Well, Lisa, thank you again for joining us. And I also want to say thank you to our viewers for taking some time out to join us. I want to invite you to set your alarms to 6 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow morning, where we'll have some more experts share their amazing words of wisdom with us. I really believe that when you make you a priority and you carve out just a little bit of time for you during the day and start the day off right with these words of wisdom from these experts, that really is the first step to living in abundance. So this is Allison Chavez wishing you a simply abundant day. Bye-bye.